2-7 notes using formulas. A formula is an equation that represents a relationship between two quantities. Now, a literal equation is a formula or equation with more than one variable. So there are going to be lots of variables on this one. So this says that I'm going to solve for A. So this is what I want to get all by itself. So in order to do that, I need to move this to the other side of the equal sign. It is subtracting 2b right now, so the inverse operation, or doing the opposite, would be adding. So 5a equals 2b plus 15. And again, I want the a by itself. Well, right now it's being multiplied by 5. So I'm going to divide by 5. A equals 2b plus 15 over 5. Now, I could split this up. So it says 2/5 b plus 15 over 5. And then simplify that. So either this is your answer or this. I will accept either one. Okay, so now let's look at the next one. This one says to solve for p. Uh-oh, I have a p here and a p here. So how on earth do I do this? Well, I need the p's to be on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm going to move this to the other side. So I'm going to subtract pq, subtract pq. So 4p minus pq minus 7r equals 16. Now I still want the p's to be on the other side, or on one side by themselves, so I'm going to move this. So I'm going to add 7r. I get 4p minus pq equals 7r plus 16. Now some of you are like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Well, we're going to do the opposite of the distributive property. Do you notice how both of these have a p in common? So if I was to write p on the outside, so instead of multiplying by what's on the outside of the parentheses, I'm going to divide it out. So I'm going to divide this one by p, and I would get 4. I'm going to divide this one by p, and I'm going to get minus q. So if I was to multiply that back through, I would get 4p minus pq. So all I did was do the opposite of the distributive property. Equals 7r plus 16. Now I want to get rid of this section right here. That's being multiplied. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4 minus q. So this cancels with this. I'm left with p equals 7r plus 16 divided by 4 minus q. Okay, over here. So as I look at this right now, I have a v here and a v here. Well, first things first, I have to get rid of this fraction. We don't want fractions. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equal sign by t. So I'm going to actually do TV just because it's funny. Okay, so I have to have the v's on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm going to subtract v to the other side. So 2tv minus v equals w. So again, we're going to do the opposite of the distributive property. So we're going to take out the v. So I'm going to divide by v here, divide by v here. When I do that, I get 2t minus, well, v divided by v is 1. That gets me w. Again, I want the v by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2t minus 1, 2t minus 1. So this cancels with this. I get v equals w over 2t minus 1. Okay, this one, got a word problem going on here. It says the area of a trapezoid is A equals the height times base 1 plus base 2 all over 2. A represents the area, H represents the height, B1 represents the length of one base, B2 represents the other base. Solve for H. So what it's talking about is if I have a trapezoid, okay, this is my height, this is base 1, and this is down here is base 2. So it says to solve for H. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So H, B1 plus B2 all over 2. So first things first, I need to get that H by itself. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. I get 2a equals H times B sub 1 plus B sub 2. I want to get rid of what's being multiplied by H. So I'm going to divide both sides by B1 plus B2. Cancel, cancel. So I have 2a over, adding the bases together, and that's equal to the height. Now, what's the whole point of doing that? Because look at this next statement. It says, once you do that, find the height. Well, isn't that what we did? We found the height of the formula. It gives us an area of 70, and it gets us, so the area is 70, so 2 times 70 over, then it says one of the bases is 22, the other base is 18. So 22 plus 18 is equal to the height. So now I'm going to solve that. 140 over, that's a 0, 3, 40 equals H. That cancels, so I now have 14 over 4, which is the same thing as 7 over 2. So I'm going to go this way. 3.5 feet is equal to the height. Okay, so a mason jar company wants to increase the volume of a cylindrical jar by 6 cubic inches. The company's designer wants a formula that states the height H of the given jar and its formula V in radius. Okay, so this is my formula. So V equals pi r squared H, and it says to solve for the height. So over here, these are all multiplied together, so I'm going to divide by pi r squared. Divide by pi r squared. So now I have V over pi r squared equals H. Okay, maybe, there we go. It says, if the radius of the jar is 1.5 inches and the original volume is 30 cubic inches, so we have the radius of 1.5 and the volume is 30, then what is the height? Then what height should the company make its new jar to increase the volume by 6 cubic inches? Okay. So what height? So they want to change it from being 30 cubic inches. They want to make it 6 inch. They want to increase it by 6 inches. So we want to make this 36. So we need to know what the height is. Okay, so we're going to take the volume, which is 36, divided by pi r squared and that'll get me my height. So we're just going to use, when we do this, for this one, we're going to use 3.14. So we're going to take 36, that's going to be pi times 2.25. So 3.14 times 2.25. Okay, so 36 over 7.065. So we're going to take and divide that and get approximately 5.1 and the inches. Approximately 5.1 inches.